Hello everyone, welcome to Unfiltered, and this is Matt, and in today's video we're going to discuss Monster High on Paramount Plus and Nickelodeon. Now, if you watched my review of Hocus Pocus 2, yes, I'm wearing the same outfit and was a little lazy. All I did basically was unbutton my shirt just to give it a different look. I think that we have lots of Halloween movies coming back this Halloween in 2022. We have Hocus Pocus 2, Halloween Ends, and Monster High being brought back, which I think for some individuals are not really familiar with Monster High, the cartoons, and the other animation movies that came out from Universal. Now, I will say this. I really didn't watch Monster High, the original, so I'm coming at this from a different perspective. Some other reviews were very attached to the original characters. So I did do some a little research by watching one of the movies that Universal had released, and then I read some reviews where they were like, lots of the people who actually enjoyed the original cartoon series were like, these are crap. So then I decided to watch the cartoon, and I did see some difference in there. Namely, some of the way the voices were done. I found like I think it's Draculaura in one of the CGI movies I watched. She sounded like she had swallowed helium. So seeing the actual original cartoon, I was like, oh, okay, so that's not how she sounded. So good to know. Now, I did read some reviews from fans of the original Monster High, and there was lots of negativity about some of the changes made in the sequel. Now, for me, watching it, I didn't really notice because I didn't know anything about the original, and I actually enjoyed the movie. So that's a little spoiler here. But I'm going to go into what I actually enjoyed about the movie. And okay, just FYI, I'm a 40-year-old or 39-year-old, going to be 40-year-old gay man. And my boyfriend and I decided to watch the movie. And to tell you the truth, it actually, for us, was an escape from kind of everything that was going on in the world. Something positive, a simple message, and really just kind of, you know, a good time if you're looking for an escape. Now, if you're going to go in here and say, like, hey, I don't really like cringy things or cheesy things, well, okay, this is probably not for you. But if you're willing to sit back and enjoy the visuals, the music, and the characters, I think you're going to enjoy this. Now, if you're going to come with kind of like feelings of the original characters and how they should be portrayed, I completely get you. You're probably going to have some difficulty, but just being from a DC fan, because WB has done lots of things with the characters, and I've stayed through it all, even though I love the characters. Some choices I've loved, some I haven't, but I feel your pain. But I do want to say, from my perspective, I actually did enjoy this movie. Now, the story does follow a main character, Claudine, who is half human and half monster, and is a wolf. I did like the aesthetic of Claudine, and originally, like I was watching, all the characters, I was like, oh, okay, they just painted them. There's not much going on here. But then I tried to actually use like oil paint to recreate Frankie for one of the videos that I was going to do for the review, and I was like, wow, this is actually harder than I thought. Also, oil paint sucks. The face oil paint, costume paint. So trying to maybe do a future video where we kind of do that. But we have Claudine, who, like I said, is half human, half monster, and has been living in the human world. And she gets accepted to Monster High and finally has an opportunity to have a place that accepts her. The only problem is that she has to hide her human side from the monsters, because Monster High does not accept anyone who's not true Monster Heart, who they interpret has to be fully monster in order to be at Monster High. Now, I think this is very relevant, the message, because when you're young, you're not able to share everything about yourself because of fear of being rejected. And I think that's what Claudine is feeling here. Now, it could be your musical interest. It could be something about your family, feelings that you have and you just don't know how to explain. Something you enjoy outside of music, that you're just afraid people are going to be making fun of you. Your body, being too skinny like I was when I was a kid, being made fun of, or being overweight. So I kind of thought like that message of being uncomfortable and having to hide something about yourself was a relevant message to really many individuals. It's not only something shared by, individuals who are LGBTQIA, and I think that, it's something that can be easily understood by any kid. So as we get to the school, Claudine meets her other friends, which Frankie, who is 15 days old and made of many parts from historical figures, and then some guy named Earl, who I think she has the heart of, who is a fisherman. It's kind of interesting. I was like, why'd your parents choose all these historical figures? And maybe towards the end, we're just like, get the heart of Earl, you know. So Frankie's a very positive character, and actually is my favorite character in the movie. With some of the lines that she says, and she also identifies as non-binary. Now, I think there could be some controversy, stirring there from just the way the current environment is, with children being introduced to like transgendered and these concepts. But for Frankie, as far as the movie, kind of makes sense. Frankie is made of many different parts from different people, so the character identifying as they them, makes sense, and it's a safe way kind of introduce these concepts to the kids. Now, that is not the main discussion of who Frankie is, and it's done in a very casual way. And I was um, looking at an interview with Cece, who plays Frankie, and said that she and he enjoyed actually introducing the character in this casual way for others to get introduced. Now, Frankie did make me laugh, but there was interaction with the Mistress Bloodgood, where Frankie needs to distract the mistress before she comes back to her office, and then she asks her, "How was the bathroom? Did you enjoy yourself?" And then the mistress was like, "Frankie, that's a personal matter that we are not to discuss." So I was like laughing. I was like, okay, Frankie, is just asking like questions that are inappropriate. Of course, only 15 days old. So we also get introduced to Draculaura, who is the daughter of Dracula and who is practicing witchcraft, which by the school is defined as a filthy human habit, which is not to be practiced by monsters. So she has that secret that she's hiding, which creates that bond between Claudine and Draculaura, that they both have secrets. And then Frankie, being so young, is willing to help both of them. And Frankie is really looking to, make friends as well. And I really like the kind of camaraderie and connection that the characters have. We are introduced to other characters. Um, Deuce, who's a Gorgon, basically like a Medusa here, snakes in his head, can turn people to stone, and is a love interest of actually Claudine, which for some of the original fans of this did not really enjoy, because Deuce is actually usually in a relationship with Cleo. Now, Cleo, I did like her outfits, and I did like the transition of the character where you see, like, hey, this is not a very friendly character, and towards the end of the movie has kind of a redeeming moment with the other characters. Now, we do have some other characters from the original series, such as Gulia and Laguna. Of course, I'm not sure if Headmistress Bloodgood was in the original, but I thought that seeing maybe some of these other characters and the aesthetics that they did in the movie were quite nice, and I did enjoy it. I would actually, you know, really like to see like a little more behind the scenes in regards to this. So we also have the teacher, Mr. Comos, who is one of Claudine's teachers, and I think that she's introduced kind of the first lesson is that they sing a song about how humans are terrible and monsters are the best. So Claudine is probably just farther hiding herself after that first lesson. Now, the sets as you go through the school, I really do enjoy it. I love that the school is kind of alive. Reminds me of like kind of a different kind of Hogwarts, which kind of was a nice experience, I think, in regards to that. Like getting to see that, the school has its own personality in itself. Now that they don't explore it too much, so maybe something for the sequel, if they make one. Now, like I said, Draculaura and Claudine both share their secrets. Claudine sharing that she's half human, and Draculaura, they discover, is practicing witchcraft. And Draculaura offers to help Claudine and Frankie find Hyde's lab, who was half human, and hopefully will have solutions to Claudine's problem of not being able to probably be in the school because of her human side. So throughout the movie, we go in this little adventure of trying to find all the ingredients to hopefully open the door, but then we discover that it's actually Claudine's ability to change back or change into a human that actually helps her open the door to Hyde's lab. So toward the end of the movie, we get this kind of final kind of battle, and some have criticized it for not being kind of like big enough and kind of being feeling rushed, but it is a good movie, and we just got introduced all these characters in the movie, so kind of expected, to be honest, on my side, that we weren't going to really get to touch too much on the character and get really that huge story element. I didn't actually even expect her to be a villain, to be honest. So for me, I was like, oh, okay, so we do get a villain in here, so not too bad. And it turns out that the villain is Mr. Kronos, Mr. Komos, who is half human and Hyde's son. And Claudine is about to have the formula to get rid of her human side, and pause this for a bit because getting rid of that human side and just being fully monster will be getting rid of her father, who is human. And I thought that was kind of nice, that even the parts that maybe you're ashamed of and scared of, are part of who you are. So you learn to appreciate them, and it's what make you you. Like I said, Mr. Como stops Claudine, discovers that she's going into here and she's about to drink the formula. He drinks it himself, turns fully monster, and becomes really less attractive. Gets larger horns, and he's like really impressed about how he looks. And I'm like, well, I kind of liked how you looked before, but I mean, to each their own. You do look very monster-like. Only interesting thing is like the horns were in the front of his head, now on the top of his head. I was like, it's kind of interesting that they just moved places. But again, something very small. I'm not going to criticize it for that. So at the kind of climax at the end of the movie, you have all of the monsters come together and kind of defeat Komos. Now, the way they defeat Komos is that Komos takes away Deuce's powers, who can turn into stone, and he also takes Draculaura's power, and Cleo gives Claudine her cell phone, and they use the selfie kind of image where Komos is about to turn Claudine into stone, and he instead looks at his own reflection in the selfie camera and the screen, and himself turns to stone. So that's how it ends right there. And again, I really didn't mind it. And why? Because the musical numbers. I actually thought the music in this movie was actually pretty good. I actually enjoyed each one of them. And oh my gosh, okay, I'm about to admit something that I'm embarrassed of. I actually, while on the way to work, listened to Monster High, the soundtrack. And should I be embarrassed? Well, I am 40, and I think if I told anybody, I'm not on the market for dating, but if I was dating and I told somebody, I think that they would have second thoughts about me and find it a little disturbing. So, there you go. And I'm like, can't believe I'm doing a review of Monster High. But I thought, innocent fun, and if you're just looking for something to watch with kids, or if you're an adult who goes to kind of kids' movies, this is one that you potentially could check out. And if you're not completely offended or disgusted by kind of things being a little cheesy, then I think you'll enjoy this. I did not find anything really kind of like cheesy where I wanted to roll my eyes, just because I knew what I was getting into and I just wanted to have a good time. And I did. I thought the dancing numbers and, like I said, the songs, I thought they were really good and really catchy. I was actually surprised because when I watched the CGI, like the animated movies that they came out with, I was like, these songs are okay. In fact, one of the movies was a little painful to get through. So I thought this was actually pretty good. Now, the message of the movie is a simple one, but it's a good, important message. Be yourself with no apologies is the final kind of song, how it ends there. I like the friendship and positivity of the movie, like I said. I feel there's a lot to fit in here, like I said, and I'm really hoping that they actually do make another one so we get to explore it a little more. Now, there is a little kind of Easter egg at the end that hints that there is going to be a sequel, and I'm really excited to explore that. They're going to take advantage that Draculaura is studying witchcraft, and other witches discover that because witches and vampires are sworn enemies of each other. So that's what we're going to be exploring in the sequel. And hopefully maybe we'll get a bigger budget, maybe to have a battle scene that people would actually enjoy. But I don't think that the original cartoon is known for battle scenes, at least not that I know of. Now, I hope that the original movie can adjust some things to make the original fans happy. I don't mind Cleo kind of going back to Deuce and maybe Claudine having her own love interest if that would satisfy the fans. I kind of thought, yes, that Deuce and Claudine be together were nice, but I don't really see a complete future there. Cleo did have some redeeming moments when she stood up for Claudine, so I'm okay with Cleo and Deuce ending up together. My boyfriend has watched this multiple times, and obviously I would say that he's enjoyed it. So I would say for a Halloween movie and during Halloween time, definitely, I would give it a watch if you don't mind singing in movies. So if you like the videos and reviews, you could stay and watch my other videos. If you liked what you're seeing, hit the like button, leave a comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to get notification of other videos, and thank you for watching and stay safe.